This is what is happening in Gaza right now.
I don't want to eat, but let the small children eat.
We are dying of hunger. We cannot find food or drink, not even water.
There is no policy of starvation in Gaza, and there is no starvation in Gaza.
Even Israeli human rights groups are coming out calling their government's actions in Gaza as a genocide.
We show how Israel's actions have led to the destruction of the conditions necessary for the survival of Palestinians in Gaza. Systematic destruction of the healthcare system, denial of access to food, blocking of medical evacuations, and using humanitarian aid to advance military targets all indicate a clear pattern of conduct, a pattern that reveals intent.
There is international and national pressure on Israel like never before. So does this mean the war in Gaza could see a real end this time? Saudi Arabia thinks so. The unfortunate situation has opened a unique geopolitical window where MBS may be the only one who can end the fighting in Gaza. Will MBS use normalization to end the Gaza war? Will Trump finally question Netanyahu's Gaza war? And is Gaza reshaping the Middle East more than Palestine? I'm Ananya Dutta. This is Grey Zone. Saudi Arabia has the money, the influence, and hence the power. With the largest economy in the Middle East, it champions the Arab and Muslim world. It was at the cusp of signing a normalization deal with Israel when Hamas launched its gruesome attack on October 7, 2023. While the state of Palestine has always been a fundamental brick in the Saudi-Israeli normalization process, both sides haven't been on the same page. And the brutal war in Gaza has complicated this tenfold. Before I come to the how part, it becomes important to track how Riyadh has reacted to this war. The past 21 months have been something of a balancing act for the kingdom. On one side, there is the Saudi-first approach, which needs the Western tech and know-how. On the other is to correct years of relatively little Saudi commitment on behalf of the Palestinians. Publicly, the Arab and Muslim world has been raging, seeing the ground reality in Gaza. Polling during the early stages of the war showed that over 90% of Saudis believe that Arab states should cut ties with Israel. There is no doubt that MBS has given ultimatums to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, like this one from last year before Israel's Rafah operation. Not only have these threats fallen on deaf ears, but there haven't really been any quote-unquote repercussions. On the other hand, MBS has been contradicting himself in closed-door meetings. The Atlantic quoted him saying he didn't really care about the Palestinian issue. From MBS's standpoint, national interests supersede everything. You see, he has big plans for Saudi Arabia, like his pet project Vision 2030. It's a societal and economic overhaul that intends to open up the society, enhance the role of women, and to diversify the kingdom's income from oil to non-oil related sectors. So when you put these complex issues into perspective, you realize that today's crisis in Gaza has given birth to a unique window where everyone could get something. At the very core of a Saudi-Israeli normalization is the potential to reshape the Middle East's geopolitical landscape around new security architecture. The pact under discussion would involve expanding joint military exercises and drills to address regional threats, mainly from Iran. Reports suggest the US would increase its presence in Riyadh through training, logistics, and cybersecurity support, and may deploy a Patriot missile battalion to enhance missile defense and integrated deterrence. It would foster partnerships between US and Saudi defense firms with safeguards to prevent collaboration with China. Riyadh is also looking for cooperation in civil nuclear infrastructure that will make the kingdom more self-reliant. And ultimately, the big win will be the normalization deal. MBS will get credit for the deal, Trump will be patted for a big foreign policy win, and Netanyahu will get a reason to be re-elected. The deal could prompt other Arab and Muslim countries to follow. And not to mention, imagine Riyadh's money and Tel Aviv's tech coming together. It will be a huge boost for Israel's tech and defense sectors. And amid all of this, the Palestinians will finally have a sovereign land they can call their own. The plan seems to be in motion. Days after France announced it wants to recognize the Palestinian state, Riyadh sat down with Paris to open a 3-day conference at the United Nations with the goal of recognizing Palestinian statehood as part of a peaceful settlement to end the war in Gaza. Normalization with Israel was quickly brought up.
I think we've been very, very clear over the last year and over the last many months, and most clear was the statement by the Crown Prince that for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, normalization with Israel can only come through the establishment of a Palestinian state. That position remains the same, and it is based on a strong conviction that only through the establishment of a Palestinian state and only through addressing the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people to self-determination can we have sustainable peace and real integration in the region.
The conference was called a publicity stunt by Washington, but we have to read fine print here. US President Donald Trump agreed for the first time that Gazans are being starved to death.
But we're going to be getting some good, strong food. We can save a lot of people. I mean, some of those kids that's real starvation stuff. I see it. And you can't fake that. So we're going to be even more involved. We did some airlifts before, some airdrops, and the people are running for it.
This kind of statement does not mean Washington will stop funding Israel. It continues to be the largest arms supplier. But this kind of affirmation coming straight from the US president is bound to reach Netanyahu, who has so far denied that starvation is prevalent in Gaza.
Israel is presented as though we are applying a campaign of starvation in Gaza. What a bold-faced lie. There is no policy of starvation in Gaza, and there is no starvation in Gaza. We enable humanitarian aid throughout the duration of the war to enter Gaza, otherwise there would be no Gazans.
So this is where we are. For the war in Gaza to end, the world's biggest powers need to get something in return. As sad as the state is, this is the reality we are living in. But here's the uncomfortable truth. We have been here before, haven't we? It's not the first time the world is trying to draw lines in the Middle East. But Israel has still annexed the Golan Heights in Syria, occupied the West Bank, and made Gaza an open-air prison. So the question is, even if this deal goes through, can it survive Israel's own expansionist impulses? This time, Mohammed bin Salman will have to answer. I'm Ananya Dutta. You've been watching Grey Zone.